Hello everyone and welcome back. Great news guys for those of you who aren't aware. Interview with the Vampire has been renewed by AMC for a third successive season as the show continues to grow in popularity. Now season 2 totally eclipsed its previous season in terms of popularity, expanding the immortal universe with an array of new characters that had appeared in the book version of the tale. This is going to be arguably the biggest season to date as we now explore Lestat's side of the story, which as we all know will contradict quite a lot of what Louis said from his own version of experiences and events with Lestat himself. This is going to be interesting to say the least. We'll also get to see Lestat's origins, his encounter with Magnus and his accounts of what really happened the first time he meets Armand, which as I previously stated, he kicks the crap out of in the books. We'll also see Lestat's mother Gabrielle, we'll see Nicholas de l'Enfant, his best friend or lover. It isn't exactly clear in the books, but I'm sure the show will give a clearer perspective on that situation too. It's all really exciting. So the press release reads as follows. In Season 3, resentful of the perfunctory portrayal in the trashy bestseller Interview with the Vampire Lestat sets his story straight in a way only the Vampire Lestat can, by starting a band and going on tour. Gabrielle, Nicholas, Magnus, Marius, those who must be kept, they join Louis, Armand, Malloy, Sam, Raglan, Farid, and others we can't tell you about yet on a sexy pilgrimage across space, time and trauma. No auto-tuning, no trigger warnings, all fields amplified. So guys, there is going to be a huge shift in the series that is described as dangerous and wild. So that could mean a number of factors, both from the past and the present. As I said, we will see a lot from Lestat's own origins, but also we will see a lot that is happening in present day, because in the end of the series finale of Season 2, that is the timeline when Lestat reunites with Louis and he tells him he's going on tour, which can only mean the famous rock band, the famous rock concert is going to be put on. That literally sends the vampire world into chaos. I feel the guy that Louis initially follows that leads him to Lestat could be a possible band member. So Lestat doesn't exactly look like he's living a life of luxury, so it could also mean that this scene in general is before his band get really famous. We're also going to see the Great Mother herself, Akasha, and also King Enkil. It will be really interesting to see a more detailed portrayal of Enkil, for example, his own encounter with Lestat when the latter drinks from Akasha. We'll see Akasha return in the modern age, I'd say sometime towards the end of the season, setting up a fourth Season 4 Queen of the Damned. Don't forget, the end of the Vampire Lestat ties into that book, which leads me to believe that there will be some merging of the books, but very, very lightly. This show hasn't really done anything wrong in my eyes for the forward in time events this whole story takes place in. Well, okay, in fairness, I wasn't a big fan of episode 6 of Season 2, but other than that, it was super solid and a very entertaining season. I'm also really looking forward to seeing the actual origins of the vampire species, if they do include it towards the back end of the season, but I do think that will be saved for Season 4, if even. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself guys, we haven't even got to Season 3 yet. But anyway, back to what we actually know. What will happen in Season 3 will be also Daniel Malloy's development as he lives life as an older human vampire, if that makes sense. He was changed in his 60s by Armand in what appears as a punishment for the hidden information that Daniel unearthed between he and Louis. Daniel seems to be embracing life however, and it shows in the final moments of episode 8. I also wonder if Daniel and Armand will have the relationship on screen in the manner of which they do in the books. Armand never really had too much of an interest in Daniel, but they did have a companionship relationship, but ended up parting ways, so I really can't see how or if they work that relationship into the whole Daniel being the reason Armand lost Louis. It actually really excites me to see how the show is just going to portray this whole situation. It's things like this which makes the show appear so fresh. But anyway, the showrunner, Roland James, did state that they would be incorporating the Devil's Minion chapter from the Queen of the Damned, and Jones was quoted as saying, "There's clearly going to be seeds between Armand and Daniel going forward." He promises that, and referred to the Devil's Minion, the beloved standalone chapter from Queen of the Damned, which focuses on Daniel and Armand. We will do our version of the Devil's Minion because it's a hottish part that was written. We obviously have a different timeline and things, but we will honour the way that we do it, which will feel spiritually right. Jones also addresses Eric Bogosian will have a new approach to the role of Daniel now that he is a vampire. "We talked with Eric," he says. "He's only had 2 scenes to play it, but we talked a lot about the Amish ritual of Rumspringa. Just see what happens if you just throw aside all of your concerns and you get to go live your little rock and roll. I mean, it's fun to see what an old guy gets to do with vampirism, but also to find a little bit of what Luke, Brandon Field, had at the beginning. When you're not as serious about yourself and self-important, and now what do? We removed your little mortality issue." Really interesting quotes there, guys, really interesting. But if we can just jump back to Lestat for a moment, we also had Sam Reed give us further insight into the Lestat we're going to get in Season 3. Reed says, "We're following the order of the books. The new season will be centered on Lestat, who is resentful of his portrayal in Malloy's book and determined to set his own story straight, and becomes a rock star." So basically, guys, this means it's going to be all about Lestat. He'll be the face of the season, and what's going to be so appealing about this is that we get to see everything from Lestat's point of view. Sam has been playing Lestat from other people's recall, from other people's memory. He's not actually being the real Lestat. Everything we've seen from the past 2 seasons has been, well, what appears to be a not entirely factual account of Lestat de Liancourt. And Jones, who was the showrunner as I mentioned, he continues and he says, "Sam worked really hard for 2 years as a supporting actor, and I think Jacob, who plays Louis, is very excited to do the same thing for him and put Sam front and centre." So guys, in all, over 2 seasons, the only time we get to see the real Lestat is in his reunion scene with Louis. But anyway guys, that is it for this video. Let me know in the comment section what you think of Season 3. And tell me what you thought of Season 2. Did you enjoy it more than the previous season? Let me know, I want to hear your thoughts, and I'll chat to you all soon.